good? It's your boy Whispy Woodz. In this video, you guys, this is basically somewhat of a continuation of the proof time video. One thing I do want to clarify within this video, I'm going to keep it somewhat short and sweet. A few people, came and they kind of debated here and there whether or not if the 6-star was even credible because it was during a mod. Well, now I've talked to a few modders about this shit. One of my boys named Rockstar Theorist, he's a pretty cool dude. He's one of the only modders I guess I trust nowadays on some real shit, and so far he's pretty alright with me. Now, before I get into a few things that me and him have talked about, I want to talk about this star, and I feel as though, aside from him, I've talked to a few other people who have understood these cheat engines, and from what I've heard, I guess, I'm not very clear on them, okay? I'm not going to sit here and lie, right? Because I'm not that clear on these things. But from what I've heard, apparently they're more visual than aspects of implementing things that are foreign into the game and or manipulating those aspects. I feel as though even if they are visual, okay, I feel as though there's still a reason why we can go to 6 stars and why it's capable. And that is the whole reason why I based it on proof, alright? The proof here was not that he can go 6 stars and he activated it. It wasn't about that, you guys. So for those of you who are saying, well, this isn't all, well, it wasn't meant to be the grand thing. This is just proof, a physical proof of understanding a goal. Okay, this is a goal. We are trying to understand and get to this point. Now, my biggest point to why I personally think that this has some credit is because when he tried, okay, when Cliche, and shouts out to Cliche, man, for just being a dope dude in general, like, and not trying to necessarily be a jetpack hunter, okay, because there's a difference between being a hunter and just being a jetpack hunter. Now, I know a few of you clarify yourselves as such, but being just a jetpack hunter, okay, excludes so many possibilities to things that it can be in the game. And that's why I don't necessarily say jetpack hunter. I say a true hunter. Okay? Now, once again, Cliche goes to 7 stars, or he tries to. He tries to implement it the same way he implemented the 6-star, by just activating it past its point, okay, by upping the wanted level. And it stayed at 6, and his fucking game crashed. Now, I was talking to a few modders, and I feel as though that, even when we were talking about it, it seems as though they agreed with me that it has some leeway to kind of be credible, because if this was based more on a physical aspect or a visual aspect of just adding a star, okay, say from just the game's coding of stars and adding them, then you would be able to get a whole bar of stars, and so on and so forth, manipulating anything about it. But for some reason, he tried to just go to 7, and it didn't work. But on 6, he was roaming the city, and all through Foreign Zancudo. I advise you to check out the video. Now, my biggest point about this, you guys, is that how does this not have any leeway to what I've been saying within my theories, and that there are aspects of GTA's past, okay, that will tell us things, and especially help us with why we possibly need to shoot for the stars. Now, one thing I do want to talk about is, shouts out to my boy Rockstar Theorist, seriously, dude, because he's a cool guy. We were talking on Twitter earlier, and we were having a real mean discussion about this egg, the infamous alien egg that Whispy fucking hates, right? Now, honestly, you guys, I really feel as though that, listen, and I've said this and made this very clear in several videos, all right, that even if, all right, that egg is in the coating, which it is, okay, I will admit it's in the coating, you guys, all right, that I can admit to, all right, because I will admit when I possibly am wrong, all right. That term of me saying that the egg was not in the coating, I retract my statement. The egg is in the coating, and goddamn, you guys need to hear the but on this, because I'm going to bring proof, all right, to why this egg is still bullshit and why it's a fucking decoy by Rockstar. And for those of you who have always thought that, I I couldn't agree with you more. And me and my boy Rockstar Theorist, who's a modder, all right, who has been all in this code, you guys, he done stuck his dick all in this code, all right. So he knows what the fuck he's doing. He can honestly agree with me when we see that all of these prop items, okay, that are in the coding, like the immovable objects, like beds and shit that are inside of houses, couches and whatnot. Those are the objects that can't be moved and that they are just objects, okay? And you you realize that they are props because they are not necessarily things that you can find use as actual items. Now, this alien egg not only is it in the prop files, all right? Prop. So understand, there's no strings for this thing to have an action. And I plan to get a screenshot from my boy to clear a lot of that up and show my point that that egg has no action in the game. It has no function, meaning that even if we found it, how is it that it does not have an action to be picked up? I'm sorry, but that thing is not to be found like that. And I've said it several times, if it was ever part of this game and not cut content or a decoy, it is part of a cutscene. And we have misunderstood something that we have dipped into the code once again. And I need you guys to understand a little bit of Rockstar's history if you don't know. The hot coffee mod, okay, is not necessarily a mod, it was a level, okay, created by not only the developers, but it was loved by the CEO of Rockstar, okay, the motherfucker who absolutely adored the craziest aspects of the game, but he wanted to implement so many fucked up sex scenes in the game and that mini game that the game would have been pushed to an adults only rating. Okay, now this was in weeks of the release date, so guess what they had to do? Okay, they had too many copies already done. They had to create a way for them to just take the coding of that minigame and hide it. But guess what? Some modders found it, and that's what created the hot coffee mod and the fiasco that it was. Although it did give them a lot more press and a lot more publicity than ever, it was also one of the darkest times in Rockstar's history. So understand, you guys, they're not stupid. They know we dip in the code. If they didn't know we didn't mod, they wouldn't fucking implement a user-based fucking modding system in the PC version. You guys, they know we like to fucking implement shit in their game. Okay? Why do you think they gave us a content creator? Come on now. I'm just trying to open you guys' eyes that we have been misled by a lot of sure talk by the mods, okay? And I'm telling you that was a lot of due to us just finding something and then claiming that it's just fact and that's it, nothing else in the game. And that shuts out possibilities. I'm trying to open them back up because our minds have been closed on just finding some egg and some jetpack, and that shit has led us in so many dead ends that it's sickening, you know? But again, not to digress too much, the fact of the matter is that, yes, the alien egg is there, but it is a fucking decoy. And I'm saying this with leeway of understanding that, one, okay, they know that people dip in their code due to the hot coffee mod. Two, they know, okay, for a fact that they're going to look for shit that is on the mural. So why wouldn't they implement something as physical as an egg? Why not? Why not? And then you know what's the cool part, you guys? Because me and my boy were talking about this, and he's gonna give me a screenshot of this when, you know, when I get it from him. He can show the code, okay? And the first fucking line is alien egg. Of all these props, on all the normal props in the game, alien egg is the first thing, because it's in alphabetical order. Now, you think that Rockstar, come on, you gotta be fucking kidding me. You think Rockstar goddamn North, the people who created a masterpiece, are that fucking stupid to hide it in the first line of code? Oh, goddamn. Don't be so naive. And I'm not talking to the true jetpack hunters who understood my point a long time ago. I'm talking about the people who still hung on to that shit as if it was something to be found. Okay? They put that shit for modders because they know people are going to look. Period. They're not fucking stupid. They know their history and they know their game. It's just, it's common goddamn sense here, you guys. Here's another thing. These spaceships, okay? And this is from his mouth, and I can get the proof for this, okay? The Mount Chiliad spaceship is called, within the code, is called Spacecraft Anus. Okay? So, if something is called Spaceship Anus and or Spacecraft Anus, why would they have a code name for that? Okay? But then something as simple as the main thing we have to find, like an alien egg, is just called an alien egg. You guys. Come on. Come on. Again, they know about the hot coffee mod. They know we go in the code. They're not stupid. And you know what's the cool part? Not only do they know we dip in the code, but they put the hot coffee in a reference of the egg place we were supposed to be in as an understanding that when you dip in the code, you're not gonna see much anymore because this is not the same fucking game. This is the whole point why hot coffee is even referenced in the game, okay? It's all due to that fucking mod that modders ripped out of the code, alright? But understand that that shit was hidden deep. Now, if Rockstar was going to hide something as deep as that in the game, okay, an old-ass PS2 game, now that you have a PS3 game, you really think they're going to hide the biggest thing in the first line of the fucking prop code? Come on now. Use your brain. Spread the truth.